I did want to say about the game, I'm not sure. Uh, I know we'll talk about it with Faxon in a little bit, but I wanted to say welcome to the team, Troy Stellato. Um, he had a huge week this week against Charleston Southern, and I think he's deserves to wear number 13. He's surpassed Brandon Spector. Uh, he deserves number 13. Spector can move on to a different number.
Yeah, it was after was it a couple years on the team, just being hurt constantly. It was finally his time to get out there and caught a few passes, looked good, and was good to get him out there. So overall, Clemson improved to 98, 17, and 8 in home openers, and it was the 20th straight home opener victory for the Tigers. Dabo Swinney won his 162nd career game to pull within 3 victories of Hall of Famer Frank Howard in his career at Clemson, who has 165. This game was Dabo's 100th home game at Memorial Stadium. He is 92-8 all time in games played at Death Valley. Now, that number kind of jumped out to me because obviously from that run from 2015 to 2019, Clemson wasn't losing hardly at all. But if you think about it, back when Dabo took over, there was a little bit of a shaky start there early. He had a losing season, and the fact that he has only lost 8 times ever in Death Valley is still pretty impressive to me.
Yeah, that is. I was pretty shocked at the stat when you put it up on the notes. So, um, 92-8, only 8 more games until he wins his 100th at home. So,
Yeah, pretty crazy. Unofficially, speaking of numbers that surpassed 100, 117 players played Saturday. Broke Clemson's record of 111, which was set against Charlotte in 2019.
yeah, that was the Disney game, if you guys
That
remember.
was
It was the game that the movie Safety was filmed at halftime.
which the team they were playing in that movie is the team coming to town this week with Florida Atlantic. So
Well, what a transition. We should have saved that one for the end.
sometimes a blind squirrel finds a nut. But after getting outscored 7-0 last week, Clemson improved to 64-2 since 2015 when outscoring opponents in the Middle Eight. The Tigers did not do well in the Middle Eight the previous week with Duke. So that was a talking point of ours a lot last season. It's the first time it's making an appearance this season on the college football show. Clemson compiled 679 yards of offense, its most since gaining 702 against Wofford in 2019. Overall, Clemson outgained Charleston Southern 679 to 73. It's the second highest yardage margin in a single game dating back to 1950, trailing only 691 against South Carolina State in 2014. Quarterback Cade Klubnik completed 28 of 37 passes for 315 yards with 4 touchdown passes. He did have that one interception, a boneheaded play with the intentional grounding, but I think Cade took a step forward. He's still a little jumpy, still a little jittery, still making some of those mistakes. It was against a lesser opponent this week, and may not necessarily make that much of a difference, but for me, for you, I know sitting in those stands in that first half. What was the halftime? Was it the halftime score 17-14? Is that what it was?
I believe we might have went up 24-17 right before half.
Okay, but yeah, that first half felt very tight. Obviously, if you look at the box score after the fact, the first half and the second half were 2 completely different games, but I do think Cade took a step forward this week. Wide receiver Bo Collins led Clemson in receiving, setting a career high with 7 receptions, matching his career high with 137 receiving yards. He set that in 2021 against Wake Forest.
Yeah, he almost only had 132 receiving yards.
Yeah.
Pulled up on like the 20-yard line with a guy like 3 yards behind him. I don't know how he didn't get caught, but uh, I wanted to bring up. I might even, when I'm editing the video, put this on the screen because I was watching the game last night again, and the play design on this play that Bo scored on. Just go watch the route trees and the combinations that everybody was running. You had your slot and your tight end running mesh. Bo from the outside running a post, and then you had your back running around on a wheel route. This is the kind of route combinations I've been looking for since Garrett Riley got hired, and I know that wasn't that long ago, but well, I guess I've been looking for it since
Couple of years now.
yeah, since we haven't had a good offense. So I might put a screenshot up on. I thought about like doing a whole segment here and going to film school and watching this, but just I'll put it up on the screen. This play was what we need more of. There's another play later on in the game that I'm not a fan of, and we ran it multiple times, but I'm not going to go into it.
No, I think that's something you're going to see more of the more Cade gets comfortable and get a couple of these guys like Bo stepping up that you realize that you can consistently count on, which
Yeah.
it didn't look like that in week one.
And you mentioned that one boneheaded play. I think Cade described it himself as the worst interception of all time, where he was. It looked like he was trying to get rid of the ball before getting sacked, but he just did not get it anywhere close to the sideline. If you look at a screenshot, I believe it was going around on Twitter yesterday or this weekend at some point. If you look at the where Cade decided to throw the ball, if you pause the screen right there, there's two receivers without a defender within 15 yards of them. He got stuck on his first two reads, and time kind of started running out in the pocket, so I guess he just decided to stop making reads and throw it as far as he can. But if you go look at that, there's two receivers that had a chance to score if he would have found them.
Got a little happy feet there. And you talk about that with Faxon, that sometimes where he panics, he can step up a little bit in the pocket, or sometimes he floats too far back there. Things that hopefully you're going to see, and I think you will see him improve on this year. And I feel like that'll make his decision-making a lot better. A wide receiver, Antonio Williams, caught 5 passes for 64 yards with 1 touchdown. You see a little bit more improvement this week with the receiving core, as we mentioned. And he also posted his first multi-touchdown game of his career. So you look at the opponent Clemson played this past week, not to the caliber of the previous week when facing Duke, but it gives you an opportunity to work out some of these things, focus on the details, get some confidence making some passes, letting the receivers run these routes, get comfortable, and improvement this week. I think you'll see Clemson take a step forward again this coming week with Florida Atlantic, which you definitely need because you got a huge matchup with Florida State coming in next week, and you want to have those ankles ironed out when Florida State comes to town.